Hey, it's Tarrmu and welcome to Thinking Out Loud, and in today's video we'll be discussing an interesting topic that I feel is always something that is front of mind when we're talking about video games, and that is the discussion of graphics. But something more deeper than that, than just fidelity. It's game art styles, art direction, and overall aesthetics, and what makes a particular art style feel timeless. The first major question is, what causes a game's presentation to feel dated? Why is it that when I look at the visuals for Max Payne, seeing Sam Lake's smirky grin and feel the charm, or replay the first Final Fantasies or Metal Gear Solids, I still love the atmosphere? But on the flip side, when I load up some games from the PS3 era, like as much as I love the series, looking back at the first Uncharted, it doesn't feel like fate has been as kind to it as other games. My first thought is an overcommitment to visuals and high fidelity over a particular art style. I feel like there's a reason why Wind Waker's aesthetic has held up and still looks as gorgeous today as it did the day it released. It is crazy to consider that back when Wind Waker was revealed, that many were shocked and enraged at the choice to go for what people would claim at the time as a childish presentation. Of course, it was because they had a glimpse at what was considered to be an epic, cutting-edge, realistic approach to Zelda, which eventuated in Twilight Princess. But if we now objectively look back at the two games, I feel like whilst Twilight Princess still holds up nicely, there is something timeless about Wind Waker, where in the department of its visuals, it holds up stylistically and visually by comparison. So I guess the core question at the heart of this discussion is, what makes an art style feel timeless? And for me, I believe that in many ways it is the understanding of simplicity. There is something about older games where particular techniques, colors, and lack of technology that we have now has sparked creative methods to depict a particular environment. The flip side of this is a game that releases with cutting-edge visuals, cutscenes, and effects, but an overall tone and atmosphere that feels dampened with time. This isn't exclusive to video games, by the way. Think of movies like Psycho and how they depict horror, and how there's still something that is highly regarded in the way that it depicts that to this day. I think the overarching goal is, it is the style, but more importantly, one that serves to invoke feeling, feels believable within the context of its world, and doesn't feel disconnected from what they are trying to be. To me, it's ultimately the tonal feeling, the spaces created that provide memorability, and more importantly, provide a timeless quality to them. I've used a game like Wind Waker as an example of this with its cartoony art style, but there are games that invoke this similar feeling in their visual style, world design, and how the player's role within them takes place. And one of the best examples I can think of is Dark Souls. Yes, Dark Souls isn't the prettiest game on the market, but even to this day, walking the steps of Analondo, traversing Sen's Fortress, or the Darkroot Garden, there is so much there. It is so distinct and diverse and so memorable. There is definitely areas like Lost Izalith which are unfinished and have their own issues, and time hasn't been favorable to them, but overall Dark Souls' visual style and feeling feels preserved. There is a sense of feeling and intention in its nature. The way that the game is constructed, its environments, the way that it has you traverse through it, it's all memorable, and you can just, I could say, close your eyes, picture the Filing Shrine, and you could have a vivid image. Same could be said for Sen's Fortress, the same could be said for Analondo, same thing could be said for the Duke's Archives. No wonder where you go, and no matter what location, it has such a visual and distinct feeling and stylistic choice that you can just remember each zone. There is a sense of feeling and intention there, and it's just really hard to shake. It's so memorable, and it is so intentional in its construction and design. The last point that I want to make is that I don't believe that games of high fidelity and cutting edge graphics can't age like wine. I feel like Cyberpunk, despite all its issues and visual hiccups at launch, in 10 to 15 years from now, when technology has advanced, we will still consider games like that visually appealing. There is something about the world of Cyberpunk that pops to life in its atmosphere that it invokes, the background sound and scenery, the bright popping colors, the different locales and locations. I think even to this day, games like Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption 2 will still hold up technically because of how they are designed and constructed and how their worlds make you feel. And I guess what makes an art style feel timeless at its core is the way that it invokes feeling and intention in its world, how it makes a world feel believable, how it makes a world feel designed with intention, and it has and creates a vivid image in your mind, like an art piece that you just can't forget. And I think that that is what ultimately makes a game feel timeless. But in conclusion, visual art styles, how well they hold up and how much they resonate with people does come down to a person's preference. But recently, I've been considering what separates the games of old that stylistically and visually still look nice and charming, and those that are showing their age. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments down below, because there's obviously a bunch of different thoughts, opinions, and perspectives, and what people consider to have aged well versus aged poor. But let me know what you think down below, and what games do you think's aged well? What do you think defines a timeless art style? As always, I've been Tarrmu. This has been Thinking Out Loud, and thanks for watching. And if you made it this far, consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next video.